Before you guys roll out the Amazon Kindle Scribe as your next e-reader writing device, you're going to want to take a few minutes and watch this video as I'm going to compare it to other e-paper devices like the ReMarkable, the Onyx Box, and the SuperNote, and show you why the Amazon Scribe is a great fit for those of you that have a passion for reading that now want to write. A little bit of background on e-paper and e-reading. When you think of the E, it's electronic. So we look at e-reading as those that love to read books electronically. E-paper is for those that want to take a yellow notepad and make it digital. So that is the very first question I'm going to ask you guys. Are you someone that loves the interface, the ecosystem of your Kindle? You love being able to use it, have that display out in the sun or at your bed stand and be able to read the books and learn about the news, read those stories throughout the magazines, wherever you go. But you've missed out on the opportunity of wanting to take written notes or digital plan. Well guys, that's what we're going to talk about today, so stay with me. So first and foremost, a little background on these devices. The Amazon Kindle Scribe is in its very first edition, hardware and software, while the ReMarkable 2 is in its second generation with a series of updates and improvements over the last number of years. That alone makes it hard to compare because ReMarkable has had a lot of time to get it right, and Amazon Scribe is introducing an entirely new hardware device as well a software component for digital note-taking. So we're going to break it up into two categories, hardware and software, and talk to you about how these two devices compare. When I look at the hardware, look at the size and format of the Amazon Scribe, you're going to see that if I remove it, it's relatively close to the ReMarkable 2. Matter of fact, when I put these two devices side by side and compare the screen, you can see the actual screen itself, both horizontally and vertical, is relatively the same size in nature. What kind of misleads you though is you look at this bezel that I'm using to make it a one-handed holding device, and I say, wow, that bezel on that Scribe is really big. But when I look at the bezel on the ReMarkable 2, it's relatively close to the same size. The only difference with the ReMarkable is we kind of hide that with the two-tone feel of this device. Why is this so important? Well, when I'm going ahead and I'm writing notes on either one of the devices in either rotations, if I'm left-handed or right-handed, a lot of times I'm doing that in a one-handed mode. And with both the Amazon Scribe and a lot of other e-paper devices, they've adapted the placement of that screen so I can easily come in here and I can write down a task. Take out trash. And I can easily do that wherever I want to go. The other thing that's really noticeable about the hardware of these devices is how thin and lightweight they are. If I compare these two devices side by side, you can see that the thickness is relatively comparable. The weight of them, the Scribe is slightly heavier. When I turn the devices over, one thing that's unique, because you don't always use these devices for taking notes as you're holding them, is the rubber feet at the bottom of these devices that you'll find on both the ReMarkable as well as the Scribe. What this allows you to do is easily place this piece of hardware, this tablet, down on the table and work with it at your desk. Now, one thing unique about the displays of these devices is they both use the same technology, so the same stylus will work across either device. And for today's review, we're going to talk about the stylus that came with the Amazon Scribe. This is the premium product, which introduces the little clicker, and to me that is huge. The next thing that's really important to understand about these devices is the screen resolution. The Amazon Scribe is the first screen over 10 inches to introduce 300 ppi. What does that mean to you? It means sharpness and clarity in your notes. I can come in here with my pen and I can write coffee with and I'm going to go ahead and pull out my ReMarkable, and using the same stylus, I'm going to write coffee with Sam as well. Now I can come in and I can choose to pinch and zoom these devices, and the Scribe is rather quick and fast as doing that. And you can see the sharpness and clarity of that written note. If I come in and I zoom in with the same clarity on the ReMarkable, relatively the same note doesn't have the clarity that I see on this device. The other thing that's notably different is the backlit screen. You can see how much brighter this is. And in a low light condition, I'm going to want to have that, especially if I'm taking notes at night in bed or if I'm reading. I can also come into the settings and I can adjust that brightness. I can also change the warmth of that screen resolution to line up however I want. The other thing that's notable with the Amazon Scribe is if you're someone who listens to audiobooks, you can pair Bluetooth headphones with it, or a speaker for that matter, and you can listen to your books as you take notes. You can also take notes inside of the actual books that you're reading, which is probably one of the most renowned feature for me, for those that read self-help books or task and journal. Being able to take notes in your book as you're reading it and think through your own processes, I think is huge. And that's probably one of the things that sets this device above and beyond any other e-paper device. As an e-reader, it's absolutely fabulous. The preferences and the settings and the adjustments to the font sizes in the Amazon Kindle for years have been above the rest, and it continues in this product as well. So diving into the note-taking with this device a little bit, you can see I, on the left side, have the ability to have a pen tool. I can adjust the thickness. I have a highlighter tool that I can adjust the thickness, and an eraser tool that I can adjust the thickness. So I can go ahead and I can write a note. And I can click on this little button here, and I can actually choose to highlight that note. And I can flip the pen around, and I can go ahead and erase that note, just like such. That is one of the really cool features about this device, is I have the ability to highlight, write, and erase, all with using my actual stylus itself. However, I don't have a lot of other tool selections, and that is one area where the ReMarkable 2 really has the Scribe beat when it comes to software. So we'll take a look at that as well. So jumping back over to my ReMarkable 2 here, you can see I have that same selection where I can go ahead and choose different tools. I can do a ballpoint pen, a fine writer, a marker, a pencil, a paintbrush, a highlighter, even calligraphy. And I can then from there choose my thickness. So I'm going to go in here and I can write a note. But I don't have the ability to highlight. It'll simply, when I click on that button, or any button for that matter, it's just going to go back and use the same tool that I had selected. If I want to highlight, I have to go back into here and choose highlight, and now go ahead and highlight that note. I do have the same ability if I want to use that eraser tool. However, commonly we do make mistakes, and commonly we want to undo those mistakes. And that is one piece of software update that is in the ReMarkable, is I can go ahead and I can undo something that I did. I'm going to back up to the point where I scratched off the note itself. But now the other software improvement is that I can come in here and I can select that note, I can copy it, I can cut it, I can also move it, and I can resize it. That is something I cannot do with the Scribe. However, when I look at these two devices side by side, the hardware aligns. Matter of fact, I feel that the Scribe actually outperforms the ReMarkable in hardware by having that crisper, sharper, higher resolution screen that's backlit. When I look at the software, it's not quite there. I can do the job I need to do. Again, I asked that question early on. If you are someone that's coming from the Kindle world and you want a device that you can read and write with, and reading is your primary objective, the Scribe is most likely to you because it's introducing writing for you. If you're someone that wants to write and have access to reading, I'd probably tell you to look at the ReMarkable. Just, I don't know if you're going to be happy with the ability to read ebooks on it without having all the preference opportunities that you have in the Kindle itself. But when it comes to software itself, like I said, ReMarkable has had a number of years and is on its second generation to allow you to make those updates. I have full confidence if Amazon's listening to their community, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to introduce that lasso tool. They're going to introduce the ability to undo and copy and paste. And if they do that, it's going to elevate the product to the same level as the other e-paper devices. And now you will have a superior e-reader device that has match capabilities of many e-paper devices out there. The challenge though, if you're someone that wants to have a device and take notes on it, and then when you go back to the office, be able to open up those notes and be able to see those notes on your computer, I don't know if either one of these devices is quite right for you from a note-taking world. And that's where the Onyx Box Ultra comes into hand. I can go ahead and grab the Onyx Box Ultra, which is a very comparable device in size as the ReMarkable. It has that same bezel. It does also have the ability that I can go ahead and change the backlit display. I can make it brighter, I can warm it, I can cool it, and I also have the ability to put Bluetooth headsets with it, and I have the ability to download any app from the Google Play Store, such as the Kindle Reader app itself, and access all my notes. But I can go a step further and I can install OneNote, and OneNote is a universal application that is going to allow me to write a very comparable note on the device itself and have full faith that this note is going to sync to the cloud and then sync across all of my devices so that I can take my notes not only wherever I go, but across every single platform that I use. So with that being said, I hope I provided you guys a little bit of insight. When I look at these devices, it goes back to that original question. Are you a reader that wants to write, or are you a writer that wants to read? Or more importantly, are you someone that wants to have universal access to your notes? And I think that's going to help you determine which e-paper device is right for you. And I hope to see many updates from Amazon over the next several weeks, over the next several months, and over the next year or two as they expand themselves in this e-paper world. If you got one thing out of this video, do me a favor, hit the like button so others can learn about it. Subscribe to our channel, as we're going to not only uncover this device and every other device in this market, but we're also going to teach you how to use digital planners, how to become more productive in your week, and how you can focus your vision so you can execute the dreams that you have for yourself. Guys, with that said, I'm Brandon Boner, creator and founder of the Key to Success Planner, and Lord willing, we'll see each other in the next video.